Hey, what's up, everybody? Wade G checking in with another gym chat. Today, just wanted to talk about, life after relationships. Kind of avoiding permanent solutions and, seeking to grow through what you're going through. So, I've been through several end of relationships, with intimate partners, with family members, with friends and business and otherwise. Probably the hardest one is dealing with some issues after separating from family. It's going to be a difficult one because of how you've been bonded throughout your life. And, at some particular point, if you're doing what you need to do and whatever you're contributing isn't being acknowledged, or appreciated, it might be time to sever those ties. I know people want to say, blood's thicker than water and blah, 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 but also at the same time, nobody can really hurt you like those particular people because they have knowledge and experience with you that, nobody else ever could, and that can be taken unfair advantage of at some point. And, bless their hearts, you're not responsible for whatever your parents might be going through. You're their children. You know what I'm saying? They should be there for you. Your parents shouldn't be using you as a crutch. Your parents shouldn't be guilt tripping you for decisions that they made. Your brothers and sisters, it's in the same light. Like you can be there to help, but if they're not going to contribute equally to the assistance that's being provided, as far as if you're gonna agree to carry some weight for them and if they're not going to do what they need to do so that they can start to alleviate some of that weight from you, then you get to just drop it because it's not your burden to carry. Again, for the purpose of this life, bare minimum, you support your own burden. Point blank, period. That's the bare minimum that you can do. And then if you're doing that, again, you'll probably start to overproduce because it should be easy to support yourself. To wake up, wash your face, brush your teeth, make sure that you're being hygienic to yourself. Make sure that you're not overindulging in things that are going to be unhealthy for your life in a positive direction. Make sure that you're contributing to your personal growth and development as far as learning new skill sets, being dedicated to your mindset, your body, having a list of priorities of structured boundaries and disciplines for you to maintain for yourself on a regular basis. That's the bare minimum that you can do. And again, once you have that self-control, that self-discipline, that drive to, again, take care of your burdens, again, you'll start to be prosperous and overproduce anyway. And then you'll be in a position to lend help to people. But if the people that you're going to lend help to fail to help themselves, you're gonna get caught in that whirlpool and sucked down into that abyss with them. If you choose to do that, that is going to be your choice. But again, you also have the choice to walk away. Again, you're not responsible for the burdens of your parents. You're not responsible for the burdens of your sibling. You're solely responsible for your burdens. And if you have children, you're responsible to bear that burden with pride, not guilt, not shame. You're definitely going to have to educate and guide and lead them towards being self-constructive versus self-destructive. again, I'll attest to this for a large, I guess we'll just say a large part of, my life. I wasn't the best example. I had a lot of good qualities, but I wasn't the best example. I'm a better example now, but I'm not perfect. And again, like, I'm not really shooting for perfection. I'm shooting for improvement and maintaining the gains that I've accrued for myself. So as far as, tuning in, making sure that I'm hitting the gym, that was something that I took advantage of my youth and my country upbringing. I grew up pitching bales of hay, hauling buckets of water, mixing oats, all this kind of fun stuff. Like, I grew up on a farm, raking manure, cutting weeds, dealing with a lot of hard labor, and I rested on that for a long time. So I had to get back into myself and make sure that I was being productive for myself physically, to help my mindset, to help solidify my mindset. If your body's taken care of better, your mindset's going to be better. The more you are in your core discipline, the better it's going to emanate for all of the particular departments around you. So again, I was watching Graham Stephan this week, and he got a lot of flack or Stephen Graham, whatever. But anyway, he got a lot of flack for saying that his mom lives paycheck to paycheck, and he's over here a millionaire with private jets and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, he's not responsible for how his mother chose to live his life. I've had some disagreements with my mom. I forecasted things in the future. I've tried to work with her, but the insight that I was providing at that time, for whatever reason, didn't seem to be respected or appreciated. I was like, we should probably get closer together. The decision that she made was to try and move further apart from me. That's whatever. When my mom has needed it, I've been there for her first and foremost. And I'm the baby of the family. You know what I'm saying? But at some particular point, you can only reject so much of my help before, when you actually need it, I'm no longer in that position to do any of these things. Matter of fact, the environment that we're in, that I'm not control of, is no longer conducive to making any of these things that I had planned and tried to discuss with you years ago available to us. So as much as, again, you guys have heard me discuss, I wanted to have these responsibilities. I wanted to take these burdens on. I like to be helpful. I've always been an overabundant producer. Producing for myself was the easiest thing ever. And I've had a financial aptitude that has served me probably better than most throughout my particular life. I'm not rich, but I'm also not destitute. I have achieved stability, and I get to continue to build on that foundation. But yeah, same thing with some of my brothers. Some of my brothers have taken unfair advantage of my help. Some of my brothers, we just had disagreements and fallout on, and like I said, he actually reached back out to me and touched base so that we could attempt to repair that particular relationship. So, but again, other ones haven't. And, it's unfortunate. They try and guilt trip me for stuff, and it's whatever is gonna make you feel better, bro. But, if you don't understand the hand that you played in it, I don't really have to, I don't have to engage in those games with you. It's fine. It's no hard feelings at this point. It's happened years ago, but again, it's I'm not necessarily itching to reconnect with you in that particular manner. Those aren't your burdens. I've had to solidify who I am without having really any kind of help. I've gone through a lot of my trials and adversities by myself, you know? Through situations that I put myself in, like I get it, I got full responsibility, but I've been lucky and I've been blessed to be able to continue breathing and progressing in a forward positive manner. So I'm grateful and thankful for that, you know? And like, again, like I wish things could have been different, because like I have plans of grandiose, and like I'll never know how those things could have turned out if the people that could have took those opportunities to work with me. But, you know, again, that's not my cross to bear. And I am confident and comfortable shouldering the burdens that I have, and, you know, cultivating the relationships that I have with the people that do believe in me. So again, shout out to the mother of my children, because like we've had our disagreements, but like we have again moved forward past our past so that we can build and continue to prosper in our future, because we're trying to harbor or carry a similar burden. So it behooves us to have that harmonious interactive relationship. Is it perfect? Never gonna be. But do we choose to make the best of it that we can? 100%. You know what I'm saying? And that's a conscious choice. That's what is missed out on relationships, I feel like, especially over longevity, because some things there's an attrition for things. You know, it's just a devaluation of certain gestures and kindness over time that become overlooked, and it slips into, you know, entitled and expected behavior versus gracious and appreciation of that particular action. Everybody probably is guilty of it, but you have to be mindful to please and thank you for basic things, you know what I'm saying? To make sure that you're focused on being gracious, being appreciative, and you're not expecting these particular courtesies. You know, definitely treat people with kindness, but do not expect, or they're not entitled to walk all over your kindness. You know what I'm saying? And you don't have to deal with that. You get to establish those boundaries and, again, separate yourself. Again, key phrase, thank you for bringing this to my attention. I'll make sure that we address this in a positive fashion, you know? So like, and then you can just step away and not deal with any of the animosity that might be being introduced to you. You know, walking away is the most powerful thing that you can do, you know, because to some point, again, if your help, effort, and insight isn't appreciated, remove it. Just remove it so that you can better focus on you and you can be greater for the people that want to benefit from you and want to contribute to what they're benefiting from, if that makes sense. Again, that harmonious relationship. I try and pour into any resource that I'm drawing from. You know, I want to have that active, harmonious relationship. So you might be losing a piece of yourself going through some of these relationships with dysfunctional family members or a dysfunctional relationship. If it does happen to break down and you step away, be thankful that for the time that you did have, and then here's the key, be grateful that it did not destroy you completely. As long as you're drawing breath in this world, and I'll make a video about this, about, you know, things that I've actually been through. As long as you're drawing breath in this world, how you choose to act is gonna gauge how much of an asset that you are. Even if you're in a liability situation. I've been homeless before, I've been poor before, I've been completely broke. I had to figure out ways to make myself into an asset in a liability situation. And as long as you're fit, able, and you can continue to draw breath and move freely, don't discredit yourself to being completely worthless. There's something you can do, but are you willing to do it? Are you willing to engage in that act? Are you willing to pick yourself up and do what it takes to shift your situation from being a liability towards moving towards that asset status? You know, because that's all based on you. And just like I've been discussing through this video, are you going to be willing to help yourself? Will you help you be better? You got to lead by that example. And by doing that, if you've ever come from that liability status to be an asset, you know what people are helping themselves. And then you know who's not and who you should step away from. So again, don't feel guilty for the decisions of other people. That's not your burden to bear. But definitely make sure that you're minding your P's and Q's so that you don't end up in those same particular situations. And on that note, Wedgie's out.